a social validation feedback loop.
Swipe right if you love me, and I'll hold you tight. Never sign off me, don't unsubscribe. Stay with me.
Welcome to Neighborhood Comics Convo. My name is Lee, and I'm the owner of Neighborhood Comics, a real-life indie comic shop in Savannah, Georgia. If you enjoy the show, support the show, you can do that on Substack at convo.neighborhoodcomics.com, or, of course, shop our giant inventory from anywhere in the world at neighborhoodcomics.com. I'm very excited for my guest today. You know him from his animated television career with shows like Brickleberry, Paradise PD, and Farzar. I know him from Southwest District 4-H Junior Conference in 1990 and my wedding. Mr. Waco O'Gwen is here, buddy. O'Gwen is here. What's up, man?
I'm here right here.
Yeah.
I turned 21 in Savannah on River Street.
Stop it.
I did. I was a camp counselor.
Why did you
the
do
island, that? And we went down to River Street. What was it? Wet Willie's?
It's still there, man.
It almost killed me. I think I almost died.
That's why that place exists.
I got a gun pulled on me that night. So they tell me. I got thrown in the ocean.
All right. So
I ended up rolling around in Lucky Charms at the end of the night.
That has nothing to do with your surname. That was just something
fits,
weird.
Though. I didn't know it's an Irish
you.
tradition. You turn 21, you roll around in Lucky Charms and you jump around like a leprechaun, the whole thing.
So Wet Willie's is like famous for their ridiculously named drinks. Do you remember any of the drinks that you had that night?
One of them tasted like a Frosty from Wendy's. I know it was delicious.
Okay, so like a vanilla one?
Yeah.
Or like a chocolate?
Yeah, like a vanilla Frosty.
All right. Well, we'll leave it up to the listeners to figure out what that one is. I was going through the list, man. They've cleaned up the names of their drinks, I feel like. They still have a Sex on the Beach.
Yeah, of course.
But the rest are Naked Willie. I mean, these aren't even funny. Weak Willie, Call a Cab. That one I always thought was funny. Because, nothing funnier than like needing to get a cab ride home.
They'll sneak up on you. Those fruity drinks, you're like, there's no alcohol in this. But there is.
I don't know that Yeah. I would say that when my wife first got a job here in Savannah, I want to say her coworkers took her there once. And I want to say that was the one time I've stuck my head in there. And, when you're young, like 21, or in my case, a couple years older, you'll go to River Street like on St. Patrick's Day and like, I did it. Great.
Just once is good. This is wild.
Never again. Well, you've got a lot of experience in this part of the world. Anyway, you born and raised in and around South Georgia. You did your time before moving out to LA. What do you miss being in Los Angeles that you used to have in South Georgia? Is there anything?
Remember that? I'm a big
Burritos is still around. They franchised out. We actually have one here in Savannah now.
Yeah,
anytime it closed. Never mind. It's Bandana Burger now, boys and girls.
I was just in Valdosta, and I was like getting more burritos, and it shut down. Like, what? I don't know what the story is.
It's because you weren't here.
I mean, I was eating a lot of it, so I was really keeping them in business. I now miss the people, the friends. I can't say, some things I don't miss. But
you can say whatever you want. You were trying to get me in trouble before we even started, man.
I miss my buddies, Weird things like humidity, which you think you hate. I kind of miss it. Like warm nights. They reminded me of being at camp, and like it's nice, but you're like so cold at night.
No, you're 100%. I did a weird jaunt the last couple of weeks. So I was in Savannah to Boston to Savannah to LA to Savannah to Mexico to Savannah.
Yeah,
and that move from like Boston and back, getting off the plane and like all of your skin rehydrates.
Yeah. I don't have as many wrinkles.
Yeah. Well, you got that. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Your plastic surgery looks really good.
Well, yeah, I spent a lot of my budget on it.
The effects are real. The animation special effects.
You have to do it out here. You look weird if you age. You can't age here.
Well, you're doing a good job. You're staying healthy. You're staying fit. You're doing the stuff. I'm gonna keep giving you compliments because I love you.
All the moms done it to school.
What was that joke? We gonna tell that joke about the kid who has the cheeks?
I tell you, what is it again?
I'm not gonna tell you this joke.
I can't remember which one. Which offensive thing did I say?
This was one that, was definitely a product of our time. That was about the boy with the chubby cheeks, and so you'd push your cheeks together and you would talk to the mom, and then you'd have the window down in the car, then they'd go all back. I don't know. It probably wasn't funny at all.
I like it. I like the
We
premise.
didn't have TikTok. We had to do stuff like that.
Yeah, we had to go into grocery stores and yell as loud as we could. That's how we entertain, and lay on the floor and scream in Kmart. That's what we do.
And we would do that and nobody filmed it.
Well, no, it was just for your buddy. You would bring your friend, hey, look at this. David died. It was hilarious. And that was the end of it. No one ever saw
there's
it.
no record of it. Thank God. It's not like there are cassettes floating around of your
you got it. You did pull
of your
it out.
rap group.
That was our rap group. Lee and I had a rap group called the Grub Squad. There's not a single record of that anywhere except for in your hand, and maybe I'll have one. It's not on the internet. That's the greatest thing about it. Nobody's ever going to.
And I also have the, I think you and I are the only ones who even heard Volume 2. I don't think you have a copy of it.
The
I don't
rest
think
of
we
the
ever
group
made
quit.
any copies.
It was just me and you by that point. We're not doing this again.
That's really gracious to say they quit. I think it was just we were hanging out one night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is how insane I am. I thought we were going to do something with it. I really thought we were about to be famous from that. And
your optimism is and I know you don't think you're an optimist, but your optimism is one of my absolute favorite things. People don't do what you're doing in life. They don't pick up their family and move to California and start a production house where you're making animated adult shows without being optimistic.
The funny thing, I couldn't even rap. That was the funniest thing about. I couldn't even stay on rhythm. But
I have very clear memories of us all doing this, clapping the beat in front of your face.
You like this? Just stay on, and I still barely. You could barely stay on.
I'll just drop in right now your most offensive rhymes here. So I'm putting in a little mark right here in my editor. So this is where I drop in what Waco did. That was really bad, and he'll get canceled. Okay, great. And we're back. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
You can't cancel me. I should have been canceled already.
You're not wrong.
Many times over.
Well, we mentioned that you started off in Georgia. You and your current or longtime production partner, Roger, you guys met up here. You were both in Athens at the same time. You started off doing what I feel like is another real kind of lost piece of culture, that idea of local cable television, of being able to shoot and produce something and be a cable access, having that late night hour where they would just be like, oh, we got this for free from somebody who lives here.
Well, see, they screwed up and they put our show on, which is supposed to be on at midnight. They messed up and put it on at 1 p.m. on a Sunday, right after church. And that's why we got kicked off. Because it wasn't our fault. They programmed us wrong. Someone hit the wrong button. So we got one good episode on cable access before we got booted off. Then we had to get on the dorm channel.
That's right. Then it was on the dorm channel.
That was a whole fight. That was months long fight because they said we didn't live in the dorm, so we couldn't be on. So I finally met with the head guys. Well, just tell me. I just want to know which dorm Mel Gibson lives in because playing his movies. And he said, you know what? It's a good point. So we got on there and kind of became local celebrities for a minute. And then started doing shows at the Georgia Theater in Athens. Yeah. Started doing the Georgia Theater shows, which were so much fun.
Not only the theater, but you guys toured it. I mean, you got to the point where you were selling video cassettes of the show.
It was us selling and more people making copies of it and sending them to their buddies. And we got on dorm channels at different colleges in the Southeast. And then we toured maybe 3 or 4 times. And it was amazing. These people would know all the words, all the sketches and, be able to quote stuff because they'd been watching the VHS tapes or seeing it on the dorm channel. So it was a ton of fun. All before YouTube. We started in 98 doing this madness. It was a ton of fun. probably the most fun out of everything was doing that.
Well, you didn't have any real like expectations when it started.
No.
It really was like, this is the silly stuff we're doing anyway. I mean, even back as far as high school, you were recording stuff around and kind of doing,
My granddad, I used to film
John R. He loved Columbo or hated him.
We found the VHS tape of my granddad, and we made the mistake of playing in front of my mom, and boy, oh boy, some of the stuff he was saying.
Well, as long as she didn't know we were laughing at it.
Well, we were laughing at it right there. My brother couldn't breathe.
Did love that at your granddad's funeral. It was like all guys in their 20s.
We became a celebrity like at camp at Rock Eagle when we were counselors. We had no internet, obviously, no TV, no newspaper, only VHS tapes. So then we watched John R. and he came to visit, and it was like the Beatles came to Rock Eagle, all rolled into one. Old semi-racist man. It was a time. But I will say my comedy came from that man. My mom would take me to the Piggly Wiggly when I was like 4 or 5. She'd go in, we'd stay in the car, and then he would just start with all his war stories and his jokes and dirtiness, and I loved it, man. I had never heard these words, and boy, it really messed me up, I guess.
Well, no, it was actually, I don't know. I find it to be really sweet and really special, like to have that kind of a bond, like so often, kids don't have a relationship. Yeah. With their grandparents.
Friends with my granddad. That's how I came up. Now we spent so much time together, almost got him on David Letterman. That's how funny he was. And he was just, cause he would watch, Press Your Luck, that old game show, and get mad at who won. And like Columbo, for some reason, he hated Columbo, hated Oprah and Richard Simmons, and he hated this announcer from the Braves, Ernie Johnson. He thought he was a pimp. This little white man, he's a pimp. I don't know why, but I thought it was funny. So he had hatred.
Funny.
He had hatred for everybody. It was just hilarious.
So you came from that world. You guys got that experience going out, hitting the road. I think it must have been really cool. Like you said, especially the first time or two, or first time in a new place where you knew all your friends back home knew all the words to the bits, and they would get together just like we would do to Adam Sandler movies or to kind of prank cassettes and all that stuff that was going around really at the time.
Adam Sandler album. We talked about that.
The long lost Adam Sandler record. He doesn't want you to hear it, boys and girls, but
that also had an influence on me.
It was rough. And but those first couple times when you're going out, like say you hit Birmingham or wherever for the first time, and folks there who you've never been to that town before, like it's not like you were there workshopping stuff, and they're screaming along in the theater, because you guys weren't doing like tiny little places too. Like you were actually getting out there and getting in front of people, putting some skin in the game.
Big venues.
Yeah.
It was insane. I couldn't believe the turnout, like people waiting in line to get in, just like at the Georgia Theater. And I don't know. It was just a wild time because you don't know what to expect the first time going somewhere. And I think people would just starve for something. I know Athens was, because it didn't really have a comedy scene. Big music town, but didn't really have. It was like us and these guys called the Spider Monkeys. Remember those guys?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Some of those guys worked at Adult Swim and stuff. Some of them in the business. Of course, I don't know who's in the business now. Not really anybody that I know is in the business anymore.
It says someone who works in the business. I don't know anybody.
Do I? I did.
We'll talk about that. We'll jump forward. We'll get to that. But you guys had the chance to move on from that, and that was called the Damn Show, that project that you guys did. Right now, you have gone back through those tapes. You've put everything online, and folks can actually go and set up an account and at your website at damnshow.com. They can stream the old episodes. They can order Blu-rays of those as well. What made you want to go back to the well and kind of get that out there for people?
The writer's strike.
Yeah.
No work.
Yeah.
I need to be doing something, I don't chill out well. So, after the writer's strike, we all assumed it was just going to snap back like it did last time, and it just didn't. So just a lot of time to do whatever. So yeah, like YouTube was taking down a lot of the stuff, and I heard about other people drop out. The success they had with Vimeo. It's like, yeah, we still have all the stuff, so it was easy just to upload it. So yeah, and there's still people who want to see the old stuff. So put it all up there, and had a great webmaster.
So that ended up taking, that went from Damn Show. You guys use that basically as a resume tape for MTV for Stinker Vision.
Yep.
And MTV.
Much, yeah. MTV. Well, we did the pilot for MTV. We were very excited. We were about to be famous. About to be like Jackass, man. We shoot this pilot in Athens. The cops get called on us. So the pilot did not go well. The crew we hired, there's these filters you put on cameras to shoot through glass, right? So we're doing a prank where they had to shoot through a windshield. So they put the filters on and they never took them off. So we see the footage and it's pitch black. Like you can't see anything. And, we used to do a 40-minute show. We spend like $800. They give us $150,000 to do this, like more money than we could ever dreamed of. And it looked way worse than anything we'd done on our own for $50 or whatever we were spending. So we didn't think we were getting picked up, but somehow we still did. But they're like, yeah, first of all, you're coming into New York. You're not shooting this thing in Athens. And I know we said MTV, but we meant MTV too.
We just laid it on one thing after.
So we're like, we got picked up MTV too. Oh, we don't even have, nobody has it. It was like cable
now there's
access.
Like no
really
MTV.
Again.
Yeah, no, there's like no MTV now.
Maybe 400,000 people had it in the whole country, which seems like good numbers these days, but back then. So yeah, I think our highest viewed show was like 300,000. Which you get 300,000 now, you're doing okay.
Huge.
But back then, no, 2005, it was still like one of maybe the highest rated show on MTV too. But it's not like anybody knew who the hell we were, because we went to the VMAs and we found out nobody knew. The show had all aired, and nobody like who are these guys? So we didn't become famous, and definitely not rich. We had less money after the show.
One of the cool things about that period of time that I only found out about recently was that the Damn Show DVDs were available at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And I found that out just through a weird, like, finding one of the DVDs and it had this special Blockbuster thing on it. I'm like, what?
That happened.
How did that come about?
We had a deal somehow. And I can't remember how we got. I think we were just like hustling just before Stanker Vision. We were just trying to get it out. So we had a deal with this one company, but we couldn't find any. But they needed insurance, E&O insurance, and nobody'd give it to us because it was so wild. And so that deal went away. And then there was a second company who had their own in-house insurance, so they agreed to cover us, give us a small amount of money to just put it out, make as many copies, get it in Blockbusters or wherever. And so, yeah, there were a ton of copies, but yeah, we never got any more money except for that original. Sure, we got ripped off, but it was cool to be in Blockbusters nationwide, pretty much all the Blockbusters. And I just can't imagine what people brought that thing home and popped it in. And
well,
production,
you missed out on doing the Blockbuster World Tour, you
not even like a B movie level production, man. These are kids with one light and one lapel mic, maybe trying to do comedy. But no,
they're
it was
so
cool.
Quaint to go back and watch. And, you mentioned that like YouTube was taking a lot of stuff down. And I'm sure there's a period of time when you're like, no, we don't want that out there anyway, because of the kind of zeitgeist, what's going on in the world.
Yeah. Just because it's comedy doesn't matter to something.
It's going to hurt.
It felt like some of that kind of swung back the other way, which I think if it's comedy and it's not meant to be hurtful, it's all right. Like when something's meant to be hurtful, I don't like it. I don't think it has any place. But no, we never really meant to be. We're just trying to make people laugh.
And I think things can be genuinely funny, even though, on the surface, they're taking a pot shot at someone who it may seem punching down to or whatever. I think that if it's funny, so many people who actually are in those positions think it's fun. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's who should be getting upset about it.
I think it's usually the wrong people getting upset about It's not even we're not even talking about you. Why are you pissed? So why don't you ask the people we're talking about? And most of them think it's stuff's funny,
Well, the
Art not
shows
to do
we've
with character. So none of it's meant to be serious. It's just stupid.
yeah. Well, the shows we've talked about at this point have been predominantly live action, but from very early on, you were putting animation, both like stop motion animation and hand drawn animation, into these projects that you were working on. What does your animation background, like, what was it that you were watching growing up, or what was it that drew you to that for?
Definitely The Simpsons, I mean, Flintstones I loved when I was younger, but when The Simpsons came out, and it's so weird to say that it was like an edgy show because by today's standards, it's totally not. But
I was having this conversation with my kid. Yep.
Yeah, it was so naughty, and nothing had really, before South Park, nothing had really pushed it like Bart Simpson did, to the point they banned the shirts, and that was what made The Simpsons blow up. When they banned those shirts, like, man, this show is awesome, dude.
And the controversy was like, he's talking back to his parents.
Yeah, eat
I'm
my
like, wait,
shorts.
what?
What was saying? Eat my shorts? It's nothing.
Don't have a cow, man. How rude.
That's the devil. I don't know what I don't know what.
Meanwhile, Homer is choking the life out of him, and he's
That's
not the problem.
They didn't care about that. No, he deserves it. He told an adult to eat his shorts to choke that kid. But
do you
yeah,
remember how often they were in church those first couple of seasons?
Probably had to, to offset, to keep people happy. I can imagine what they had to deal with that kind of backlash throughout the country. It was just so different and so like irreverent that it seemed just really cool. So that's really when I got super interested in animation. And I entered that. They did this contest to draw Homer Simpson a Father's Day card. Butterfinger ran the contest, and somehow I won. I know there's no way mine looked the best because I can draw okay, but I'm not like, some of these artists like we work with they're brilliant. But I think it was the fact that I was like only 14 is why they gave it to me. I don't know. Anyway, I won that contest. So yeah, I really wanted to work on The Simpsons, when I was younger. But I didn't realize I wasn't good enough to work on The Simpsons. So as far as an artist, I was still a naive child. But
that contest is still one of the absolute coolest things I think I've ever like witnessed, especially like as a kid. We grew up pretty modest, like, and all of a sudden my friend Jamie has this huge TV in his house, like a back projection TV, a top of the line Sony stereo system,
trailer. That TV would barely fit my double wide.
It was wild. All these cassettes. Like, that's how I found out about like Black Sheep and all kind of great stuff.
Dude, it was like I got 100 CDs and all this music that it's not like you could just get on YouTube and listen to music. Like you had to either you had to buy it. And so all these, like, I think it was like the top 100 CDs they included in the prize. Yeah, a stereo TV, big screen, awful picture on that big screen.
It was bad.
Awful.
But watching your granddad on that big pitch on that big screen was great.
Yeah, and that was the one he was watching people on Pressure Luck, getting mad.
They're life size. He's getting angry because they're so big.
Maybe it had something to do with it. That Columbo's as big as I am.
They're in his space.
Yeah, he did punch the TV one.
In college, was it just in college that you had the comic strip, the inebriated strip, or did you do that in high school?
I started that at Valdosta State University because my mom wouldn't let me go to Georgia, to UGA, which I wanted. All my friends were there, and she knew. She was smart. She knew what was about to happen if I got up there. So she made me live at home and go to Valdosta State University for 2 years, and I started the comic strip because I was just sad and lonely. All my friends are at Georgia. So I started that there, and then we ended up doing that on Stanker Vision on our MTV2 show. We had an animated segment from that same character.
What did you ever do with all those strips? Do you still have all the comic strips around someplace?
Yeah, I got them in my trunk.
That's our next project. Okay, got it.
I got them.
Gonna see how well those hold up.
It was weird. When I got to Georgia, UGA, they would not put me in the paper. They thought it was like too dirty, or I don't know. I got in there like once or twice. I was in there every week at Vallis Estate. This character was doing crazy stuff. They just let it slide. But yeah, Georgia, they're like, nah.
I spent some time in that newsroom at the Red and Black and did some entertainment writing and stuff. And it was pretty conservative when it comes to like the entertainment side of things. They were like, no. We're very serious. We need to all take this very seriously. So that's probably where it came out more than anything, was just we're not going to have fun. We're not going to be funny. We're going to be super serious.
I found out later, if you pay them for an ad, they'll let you put anything you want in that ad.
That is true. You could have paid to be in it every week.
Yeah. We put some nutty stuff in there, but we had to pay to put it in there. Yeah, I should have just paid. It was like, what is it, $50 for an ad in the Red and Black? Not that I had 50.
Yeah, pay to have it placed on that back page where the cartoons were.
Yeah,
right next to the Sudoku.
Definitely didn't have the 50 to do that anyway. I was eating $1 chicken sandwiches from Checkers and still almost starved to death. I was drinking expired milk.
Well, for most people, speaking of expired milk, things at Stanker Vision ran their course. It was time to do something else. And you and Roger, your partner, for most people from the outside, kind of like just went away for a minute. And then you came back like as these animation showrunners and creators. So what was that period of time like for you in between Stanker Vision ending and then you moving on to start working with the streamers and start to have the new product out there?
4 months of depression, where I played Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube. That got me through that. And then as we came out, because we thought we were picked up for a second season. We were told we were picked up for a second season, and then you know how it goes. Yeah, we came out of that, and we didn't start doing animation. This is how non-famous I was. A PR guy called MTV and asked for my home phone number, and they gave it to him. This PR guy calls me at home, really nice guy, huge fan of the show, and said, and I don't know why he did this, but he's like, you got to come meet with agents. Like, you could get repped by a real agent, because we didn't have an agent. And that was kind of what snapped us out of it. We flew out to LA and met with all the agencies, got turned down by most of them. And then this agent, William Morris, saw some potential in us, and we got repped by William Morris. And then he started setting up little pitch meetings with there used to be these studios that would like to work with like really cheap people, like new people. They didn't pay much. So that was us. So we started writing all these pitches for this company called Fox 21. So we wrote one called Brickleberry, which was live action. It was like a Reno 911 single cam in the woods. We sold it, I believe. No, we wrote the script first. We wrote the script, and the studio was like, this is insane. Like, we can't produce this. So then they said, just make it animated. Then you can do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about budget. So yeah, so we went back and rewrote it, made it crazier, and ended up selling it to Fox. They bought a pilot presentation, which is like a short pilot, like a 9-minute pilot that's not that expensive. And we did the 9-minute, and they said, we're like, should this be like PG? And they said, no, this is not going to air. Do whatever. Make it R. We're like, okay, you sure? Just do whatever we want. They're like, yes. And then we did whatever we wanted. They watched it, and we're like, what the hell is this? You guys are nuts. You can't put this on. Like, you said. We shouldn't have listened to them. That was the first lesson. So anyway, they didn't want it. It's too crazy. But they said, take it to Comedy Central. Since we had a studio, we could do that. And our agent happened to also rep Daniel Tosh, which he was looking for something else. And he had the #1 show on Comedy Central. Like, he had so much momentum because he was beating South Park and everything at that moment. So he got attached. We walk into Comedy Central with all the confidence in the world. We have a funny pilot. They still don't buy it. That's how hard it is to get picked up. They wanted us to go back and make a full-length pilot. But see, we've been working on this thing for 2 years without getting paid. We're broke. We're like, we're not just sitting here working for free. So we take it to Adult Swim. They want 10 episodes. Then Comedy Central was like, you're not taking Tosh. So that's pretty much the only reason they didn't want to lose Tosh. That's the only reason we got picked up. And so they kind of hated us the whole time, because that's not the way you want to start a relationship, twisting an arm, forcing someone to do something. And that's what we had. And we were like, we'd rather be an Adult Swim. They actually want it. But Tosh was like, nah,
And you kind of had some, like you said, you knew some people at Adult Swim, and you had taken meetings and stuff out there with Cartoon Network and those guys in the past. And I completely glossed over Super Deluxe, completely jumped over that. Remember when that was a thing?
Should have.
We don't have to go back to that.
There was this thing called Super Deluxe. Everybody was trying to be YouTube, so these guys had the ideas like, we'll be like premium YouTube, where we find people who have done some stuff. We'll pay them a little bit of money and they make more premium content. And then they just kept hiring and kept hiring more, like 300 artists. I don't even know. When I saw Masterpiece Theater, I was like, we better get our check. This thing's about to crumble. And damn, it did, boy. That thing crumbled. But we did get most of the money. But it was
the
fun.
best thing about Super Deluxe, they had great T-shirts. You were like giving out T-shirts left and right.
Wear that.
I think I still have one.
I still wear. I love working there, and I love what they were doing. I wish it could have just continued, but I don't know what the end game was or how they were planning to make money. And they spent a lot of money acquiring talent. But yeah, it was great because they would just give us a chunk of money, and basically any sketches we thought of, we just did. And they actually had a little bit of a budget, unlike what we used to do. We had a little bit of a budget, so we were doing like topical sketches. Yeah, ton of fun. I wish it was still around or they'd bring it back, but I doubt it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, Brickleberry happens. You guys are able to do that for a period of time. And that kind of exposure, very different than what you were getting on MTV2 in terms of the number of people who could see it, the number of people who could access it. Yep. And at this point, it's having not just the broadcast, but it's having the streaming aspect of it as well. So people are able to find it in different ways. And then you guys were able to use that to move on and to do things at Netflix as well, the Paradise PD and to Farzar. Yep. And that takes us up to today, which we are talking a half hour in, 45 minutes in. We're going to talk about your Kickstarter, your very successful Kickstarter that's still going on right now for your new graphic novel. So you had the chance to do a graphic novel with the Brickleberry characters through Dynamite Entertainment.
That's right.
A number of years ago to kind of wrap up, or I believe that was kind of like the movie you had written for Brickleberry.
Yeah,
Is that
it was really like when we thought there was some chance we might get picked up, because Brickleberry definitely had an ending because everybody died. So we had ended it, but we're like, what if we get picked up? So we had started to think, like, how could we unroll this if we had to? So these were the ideas that we had to kind of reverse what we did. And then we did get canceled. But with me, if there's an idea in there, it just bugs me. If there's an idea that didn't get done, I can't like get it out of my head until it's out there. So that's why we started. We saw that Bob's Burgers was doing comics through Bento Box. So yeah, we just started doing what we do, just bugging the shit out of people until they said yes, which took a while. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Our first time doing a comic, and we really think it turned out well. And so yeah, when Paradise was winding down and everything was changing at Netflix, those two, unlike Brickleberry, both ended on cliffhangers. So we definitely had an ending that we wanted to do if we'd got another season or two. So yeah, this is the ending we had planned, like for the whole run of Paradise and Farzar, bring the shows together. And
on paper, those shows are pretty far apart, like geographically, at the least.
And time,
time and space, literally, they're pretty far apart. So was it, even before the shows kind of, you weren't able to finish them the way you wanted to on television, was there always that seed to kind of how can they interact because they're on the same network, on the same producers, a lot of that is shared DNA that they have? Or was it really something that kind of once Farzar had run its course, you were like, hey, what if?
Well, this happened. It's such a weird path this thing took, because Farzar existed before Paradise, even though Farzar.
That's right. Do you want to tell this story about the executive who doesn't like space?
Yeah, there was an executive. So after Brickleberry, we knew we wanted to do something very different because we knew we were about to get, it's the same show. Because we saw what happened to Seth MacFarlane when he tried to do Cleveland. Oh, it's the same crap. So we were like, let's do something like way sci-fi and way different than Brickleberry. So that's what we went in with. We had Jack Black attached to it, and it really looked like it was about to get picked up. We had like a little bit of animation. We pitched it, and the executives just laughed a lot at the animation. And so we thought we were about to get picked up the series, but it just kept taking a while. Anytime stuff takes a while, it's not good. And so they called, they're like, look, we almost had it, but there was one executive didn't like space. I'm like, it's not in space. It's on a planet. Just like, what, are we in space? Are we in space right now? Because that's another planet, and they're just on the planet. So what is it? There's nothing to do with space. But that argument
is such a Hollywood story to me. Like the one exec who's like, don't like space. Like just full stop. Not that I didn't think this was funny or I didn't like the character model. It was like, no space.
Well, they never tell you how they really feel. New line is, we love you, but we have something like this. I mean, and that is literally every email pass we get. We love you, but we have something like this. Oh, it's weird you all have something like this.
And you're looking through your calendar, you're like, I did pitch them last year and they did buy it. Oh no.
Man, I forgot they bought it. So yeah, it was a low point. I think I ate a whole pizza because it's nothing worse to think you're getting picked up and then to not. And then you just, how am I going to pay rent? Just ate the pizza. And then the executives called, was like, look, we really need you guys. Family Guy just got taken off of Netflix. We need you guys over here. So they were like, just don't think high concept space futuristic. Think about Brickleberry. Brickleberry was on Netflix. It did great. Think about something like that. So we had this old idea for this cop show. I think it was called Pop Cop, some horrible name. Thank God we changed it. But we started looking back at that, and literally within a week, we were pitching them. Like, that's all it took to come up with this whole pitch. We were back in there pitching them the Paradise PD. We came up with it really quickly because we knew they needed something like us. So we had to do it quickly, and we got in and they picked up the script, wrote the script as fast as possible, and immediately they picked up the show. Maybe a month from like that call saying we want something kind of like Brickleberry to the pickup. Happened very fast. So that's why I try to never get too down about bad news, because man, I was going through it on, like, I thought the world was over, and we got another show picked up like a month later. I didn't have to eat that pizza. I need to chill out a little bit, I guess. So anyway, Farzar came first. So when we thought of Farzar, there was this villain, this overarching villain called Charles Lovely that was a part of that universe. So we didn't sell Farzar, we sold Paradise. So we ended up making Charles Lovely a villain in Paradise, but he's actually a Farzar character. So that is what brings the two shows together. This one villain that was actually a villain from the other show ended up in Paradise. But now that's what the story is about. It's about seeing how Charles Lovely affects both of these worlds. Charles Lovely is like this evil billionaire, which I know billionaires are mostly nice, not evil, but this one's evil. So unlike...
Good. Thanks for hedging that. I was really worried this was going to be controversial.
He's not like Elon. He's evil. Not like nice old Elon.
That gets us up to date to the comic. You are writing it along with Roger again. You've written it again, kind of based on... but kind of coming from that idea of it being a screenplay or a teleplay originally and massaging it into being comic.
Yep.
And you were able to work with a firm who has done a couple of really successful comic Kickstarters very recently, including things like SWAT Cats with Jorge Corona.
That was huge.
Yeah. And so he was able to help you guys shepherd this through the Kickstarter process and kind of be the concierge for that part of it. And you've got artists on board. You've been able to, of course, like have the series artist itself, but you're working with some pros that a lot of people might know for things like the covers. Like your friend Bernard Chang is back to work on this one. I've seen the work he's doing for it. He's so funny and such a fun guy to be around. He might seem really kind of like static at for like a little bit, very professional and very buttoned up, but he has such a great sense of humor. Tell us about working with Bernard. You've done it a couple of times now.
He's so great at taking our real simple characters and making them look more realistic and making it work. Like sometimes that happens and you kind of lose something it doesn't look right. But man, he's so good at it. He's done, he did Brickleberry, he did Paradise, and now the best one he did is this new one where it's like Paradise PD and Farzar coming at each other. And man, I love his work. He's such an awesome guy. And I'm pretty sure he did the color on that too, because I saw the the line. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And I saw the color. I'm like, it's incredible. It's like a work of art. It's just so great, man. And so we're so lucky that he's a fan and willing. He's so busy.
That's what I was just about to say. I mean, that is the sort of thing that he's doing because he wants to do it. Like, he's making time for that, which is really cool.
He got it done the last second to even have it involved in the kids. Just came in and we're just like, man, it's so good.
Sometimes when you got friends doing stuff, that's just what you got to be like, okay, and it came in, so that's good.
We're just thanking God he's willing to do anything for us.
And your partner, Roger, is a longtime comic book fan. He's a collector, a reader, is super involved like in the convention scene out there and all of that. How much does it mean to him to like kind of put yourself into his shoes? He may have said it to you, maybe not. Maybe you just know from working with him for so long and being friends. But what do you think it means for him to like, have his name on the front of a couple of books now and have that as a part of what his resume is?
I think it's probably cooler than the TV shows for him because he's like the ultimate comic fan and collector. And hangs out with Jim Lee, him and Jim Lee. And Jim, I'm sure you're watching, but I'm still waiting on that Instagram post to push us up we got to get a little push here in the middle.
Jim may be a little behind on a book he's working on, a little certain book called Batman.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about that.
I think there's 7 more issues of that. They've already renumbered the whole series and they haven't finished the last series.
Oh, man.
It's a little rough right now.
There's another busy guy right there.
Busiest guy in comics.
Roger's just like, buddies, we go to Jim Lee's Halloween party, It's just wild. And I think Jim's actually a Yucko fan, which just blows my mind. But
that's a conversation for another time. We're not going to go down a Yucco rabbit hole right now. If you guys are interested in Yucco, go to damnshow.com.
Roll the worst one.
I'll just put one of the ones from the Comic-Con that you guys went to. That's the perfect one.
See, that's so funny when Roger does that because he is those people. He's trying to insult those people, but he knows more about superheroes than they do. And he goes to all of them with his...
And wearing bad costumes.
Nerdy attire. Oh, yeah. He probably smells worse. But yeah, Roger's got all these connections in the comic book world. So yeah, this means everything to him to get to do this. So it really is just, it's just fun. That's the only reason we're doing it. We're doing it for fun and to get the story out of my head because I hate it when it's not wrapped up,
So tell people about the Kickstarter itself. So it started earlier in March, so it's been going on for a minute. It got funded really quickly. Well, the first 24 hours, definitely it was in that range.
Yeah, like
which
6.5 hours, I think.
All right, stop bragging. You've doubled your funding goal already, and there are still 20 days to go as of when we're recording this. And I'll try to flip this pretty fast so people have lots of time to take a look and think about what your different reward tiers and stuff. So talk through those reward tiers. What would people be able to get if they back the Kickstarter?
T-shirts, there's a collector's issue 1 with another really cool cover on there. It's that we've never done any merch for these shows. So this is the only place you can ever get it because it's never going to be offered anywhere else. So like some cool T-shirts, and I don't know, if you really want to burn your money, you can like me and Roger will roast you as our characters. That's one thing. You can be drawn into the comic book, which that's kind of cool. I don't think anybody needs to be roasted by Robbie and Delbert, but unless you want it. But getting drawn into the comic book is cool. You could be drawn into your own cover is another cool one that these guys cooked up. And there's like Kickstarter just gets insane with these tiers. I don't even like there's some crazy tiers. So don't feel like, look, if you just want the digital comic, that's cool with me. You get to read it and you're only out $20 or so. So don't feel like you got to go crazy unless you want to. But there's a lot of merch that you can't get anywhere else and a lot of cool things like being drawn on your own cover and getting a collector issue 1, which I think is really cool because that cover is pretty badass. Robbie Cook did that one.
Yeah. And the you say merch, like you throw it away like it's nothing. They've got pogs, boys and girls. They've got pogs that you can get with
Look,
all the
Kevin
different
knows.
show characters.
Kevin knows about, he just did Squat Cat, so he knows what works. I'm like, what's a pog? What is it?
I know we're slightly too old for pogs.
I don't know about pogs. And I'm really new to Kickstarter too, but man, that first 40 minutes, it was like I smoked crack. That's how happy I was watching that bar fill up. I was like, I'm addicted to this now.
Well, you texted me, I think it was just like, I like Kickstarter. It was like all it was.
I was like, my God, like I wish I didn't know what to expect, because just because people like the show doesn't mean they want to read a comic book, So I didn't know how much it was going to cost.
We know people like, there's that old adage about having 1,000 true fans or whatever it is, but the people who really, really love something want, like we're talking about selling the Blu-rays of the Damn Show stuff, and surprised at how well those were selling. And it's like, well, people with that connection to something want to have it. They want to hold it. They want to show other people they like the stuff. And so that's what you're making available with the hats and the shirts and the pins, and it's a lot, but you've broken it down, or your Kickstarter runners have broken it down in a way where people can be like, oh, well, I like these characters, or I'm like coming into it from this way, so I like this. Yeah. I'll spend a little bit more to show my support for this. But, if you want everything, you can get everything. Nobody's telling you can't.
Yeah. No, our fan base is so funny. Like the amount of people who love Farzar but hate the other two, or love Brickleberry, hate the other two. Come on. They're pretty much the same show. Like, how are you going to like one of them, not the other ones? How? I know, like, Paradise Pete is best, Brickleberry sucks. Like, what? Okay.
That is wild. I guess I'm not surprised. People have opinions.
I'll post about whatever, and some people just only Brickleberry, that's all they like. And some people are like, one of the other two, that's all I like, or just Stankovision. There's a couple.
But it is like, I cover a lot of comic Kickstarters, and I invest in a lot of them. And the perks that you're offering, things like being animated or getting these, like the roast video, you don't get that when you back like an Ian Bertram art book, you're happy to get the book.
Yeah, no, we have our best animator, like, I guess, thankful for the slowdown that he's available, but our top animator from all three shows will be doing the animation for anybody who gets that tier. And yeah, he's good, man. He'll make you do some weird shit probably, but yeah, and people who are into it, we're offering it. Look, all credit to Kevin. He came up with all this stuff. He's a Kickstarter genius. Obviously,
kind of shows to me that he gets it too. You know what I mean? And gets what your fans might be interested in. Like, somebody has ponied up for that roast already, so there's still one left. Tier. Yeah, so don't sweat it. You can still get it, guys.
There's still like one available, I think, if you want it.
What can people expect about the finished product of the book itself? Like, do you have the final page count yet? I guess that's still being maybe determined.
I think it'll be about 100, maybe a little more. And we have a rough draft of a script. We finished the section that had to get drawn for the Kickstarter, but yeah, we have it. We still need to work on it. It's not perfect yet, but it won't take much to get it there.
That's how
we don't want a long wait. I don't like when something gets funded and it takes forever. So we want to get this out as quickly as possible.
Heck yeah. So people can go check that out right now, Kickstarter.com. You can just use the search bar. That's always the easiest way to do it. Yeah. You can search for any combination of Paradise PD, Farzar. I always just type in Farzar, because what else is going to come up? That's Farzar, Farzar. When I need to find it, it's a lot easier for me to jump in and do that. And you and Roger, your partner in this, have been doing your own podcast as well. That's something that you guys have been releasing through your Damn Show channel right now. So tell everybody a little bit about that podcast. If people are fans of the shows, obviously they're going to want to pick up the comic on Kickstarter, but having access to you guys talk about some of the stuff you've done on your podcast. So what's that like, and where can people get it?
Yeah, so you can get it on Damn Show Plus at damnshow.com. And yeah, we basically just do a watch through of Brickleberry, and we have, members of the cast on, writers, and talk about how hard it was to get that show done, what kind of conditions we were under getting that thing done, because it was a little rough. And so our new episode, we had Tom Kenny. I'm still trying to edit it because it's a long episode.
You dropped like a clip or two of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that right when the Kickstarter, we did it right before the Kickstarter started. So I've been so busy trying to deal with this. But yeah, I was actually cutting it right before I came on. So it's going to be great. Tom's such a nice guy. He's been in everything. And we talk a lot about, his history and how many different shows, a lot of shows that people don't even realize he was on, all these sketch comedy shows. Like he was on a sketch comedy show with Jennifer Aniston.
I always forget that the Friends, because like Lisa Kudrow did sketch with like Conan O'Brien, like they were in a little troupe, and I always forget like Jennifer Aniston was also out there doing that kind of stuff too. What a weird time in the world.
Yeah, we wanted to have him on the Squabbits episode because it's one of my favorite Woody episodes, and we talked to Tom for a long time, and then we watched the old episode down, and it'll be great. Hopefully I can get it done, because man, these things suck to edit, man, because we got 3 different angles. I'm sitting here on
it's a professional podcast. Yeah, but guys, this is a professional podcast that you can
I think you're smart. There's no editing. We're probably live right now. It's great. This is
damnshow.com.
This is smart.
Hey.
Because I'm better at putting stuff off, and I'm thinking about those. I got to line up the audio.
Yeah,
3 tracks. Yeah, and I got to line up the cameras, and
I'll talk to you about this afterward, because it's actually recording system audio on your end and uploading it to the cloud. So I'm getting, like, if we had any kind of connection issue, I'm not getting any of that in the audio feed. It goes through and sets chapter markers. It does a full transcription. So
So you know how to do stuff. I don't. I'm just like,
I know how to pay something in the application to do it for me.
I treat everything like caveman. I just try to brute force it and work as much as I possibly can.
Speaking of work, you have been also working on developing some new characters, which you've been dropping a little bit on your Instagram. And I got the chance to see you working on some of that animation that you're doing in-house. Tell us about those dudes and what you've got working on.
Those scrubs.
Yeah.
New characters, same voices.
For now, you can be like, I was there when.
I only do one voice. I mean, we love these characters, and then networks keep owning them in their animated form, so we have to keep changing their names and their appearance. And they are slightly different from each other. But yeah, so it's just a Southern family comedy, just little clips. My manager has been after us forever to do online stuff, because if you can do a cartoon on Facebook and YouTube and get a following, then potentially the network may not own it. If you can establish a fan base and then get it produced on your own, then you could just license it. So that's the problem we have. We sell it to the networks, and then they own it forever, and then we're begging them just to do a comic book. And it's really hard to use your own characters in that situation. So we're trying different things. So hopefully we make these guys popular so we can just license a show potentially instead of selling them the characters forever throughout the known universe. You have no chance of ever. Then I'm having to make another set of rednecks in a couple years,
Where's the best place for people to see those clips that you're putting out of the Scruggs?
Probably Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, it's the most popular, but it's on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
All under the Damn Show account?
It's under those Scruggs. If you search,
Scruggs. They have their own accounts on those.
Yeah, we put them in their own account. We don't know what we're doing.
That's fine. Yeah, obviously you don't know what you're doing. You've carved out a career in the insane entertainment world and still have your head on your shoulders. You may eat a pizza once in a while, but I do that on a regular Friday night, so don't feel too terribly bad. Yeah, just know that you're in a good place, dude. So is there anything else that you're working on that you could talk about? I know there's always stuff that may be, kind of flying under the radar or waiting and seeing and all that kind of stuff. But is there anything else that I know you're busy. We will say you're busy.
We have a pitch called Magic Land that we're taking around. New animated show.
All right.
We'll see. Might be a comic book soon,
This is a green light right here. We're going to pick it up.
Good. Let's do it. Times are tough. in the animated world out here. My son was thinking about going into animation. I'm like, nah, probably not.
Little Nepo baby out there
Don't do
getting that Brickleberry heat.
I just want him to have a job, and I don't know. My animators are all gardeners now, and nobody's working. It's just a tough time. But hopefully, it'll snap back at some point.
Well, no matter what happens, you've always got your rap career to fall back on.
Should go back.
Waco, thank you so much for your time, for
Thank
hanging
you.
out. Thanks for letting me stay in your guest room.
Anytime.
Thanks for putting back up one of the pieces of art from last I stayed with you the year before. There it is.
That's us.
Oh yeah.
Look at us.
They got autographed this time, man.
I mean, we're pretty
every time
hot.
I come, I'm going to add something more to it every time. Look at us.
How can the ladies stay away from that?
I don't know, but they figured it out, didn't they?
They did. They found out how. They knew.
The rap album may have had something to do with it.
Probably those stupid hats we were wearing.
The shirts we spray painted ourselves. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Sure you do.
We thought we were cool.
Try proving it otherwise. You can't go back. There's no record of it.
No. Don't upload it. They'll never know.
One last time, remind everybody, I'll say it. Go out to Kickstarter.com, back the Paradise PD and Farzar original graphic novel that's coming out. Lots of cool reward tiers. Go to damnshow.com. There you can look into all the details about Damn Show Plus, as well as getting the Blu-rays of those classic Damn Show episodes. And on your social media video watching platform of choice, check out those drugs.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I love you. Thanks for making time. Good to see you. We'll do it again. Thanks for listening to Neighborhood Comics Convo. Visit us online at neighborhoodcomics.com or on all social media at NBRHD Comics. Our theme music's provided by Ditka. Special thanks again to our special guest. See you around the shop, y'all.
Never sign off me. Don't unsubscribe. Stay with me surely through woke diatribe.